We have got Amanda Hall on the Skype with us on All About You, and legendary tarot card reader, and also amazing Amanda, great with star signs. Lovely to have you with us, my love.
It's lovely to be back again, Steve. And how's everybody in the studio?
Good.
Well,
Fantastic, Amanda.
Hello,
How are you,
a very
Amanda?
busy week.
Great to see you again.
Wonderful to see you.
You're doing the last three signs in our four-part series, which is Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces. Look at you glowing tonight.
What's your star sign?
Oh, thank you, dear. Yes, we are going to do the last three signs. And I just want to tell our viewers, I'm going to wait until Vivian returns from her cruise before I insult you and her about what Pluto's going to do when it moves in, when Saturn joins Pluto in Capricorn. So I'm saving that for when Vivian comes back. But going on to tonight's topic, where we've been talking about in the last 3 weeks, the sun signs as it goes through each sign of the zodiac. Tonight we are finishing up this series of the sun moving through the zodiac, and tonight we were talking about Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is an earth sign. It's number 10 in the zodiac, so it's a cardinal sign. It's also the sign of big business, of money, of practical things in our life. And I'm saying this affectionately. When you know a Capricorn, you know that they only eat one meal. They start when their eyes open and they finish just before they go to bed. So they only affectionately have, or traditionally, one meal a day. They just graze all through the day because that's important to them, because they're a goat. They can't get full. So they need to have constant little meals. So on a negative side of Capricorn, sometimes they can be stubborn and pig-headed, and probably too stubborn for their own good sometimes. Sometimes they really stand in the way of their own progress. So if you know a Capricorn that's procrastinating at the moment, give them a clip around the ear hole, because they really do need to be moving their lives along at the moment. There's a lot of energy going their way at the moment to make change. We move on to, the only person I can think of as a famous Capricorn is Paul Keating. So for those that followed politics in Australia, he was a famous Capricorn. I can't think of a lady off the top of my head, but we'll move on to the next sign, which is Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is a fixed sign. It's an air sign, and it's probably the most unusual, or the sign that likes to break the rules the most. So if you want to do something daring or different, grab hold of your Aquarian friend. You'll be guaranteed to have a great time. You always know an Aquarian because they're so colour coordinated: orange dress, green shoes, pink handbag and purple hair. And they just dare to be different. They know everything, or at least they think they do. So if you're really short on knowledge and you want to know something, just ask an Aquarian, because they will tell you that they know, they have all the answers. And they do a lot of the times. They're very fast-thinking sort of people. So, famous Aquarians, Neil Diamond springs to mind. I mean, he's an amazing songwriter. So we have, and I can't think of a lady, I'm a bit short on the ladies tonight. So it's really interesting that we have some amazing people that are born under these signs that help us understand the energy of them. Now, our final sign is Pisces, darling little Pisces. And Pisces always gets a bad rap because everybody says they're like the two fish chasing their tail. And they're not necessarily chasing their tail. They're known as the dustbin of the zodiac, or the final sign. And in my interpretation of that is they have the opportunity to bring to light all the energy of all the other 11 signs and bring it into the sign of Pisces. It is a water sign, but it's a mutable water sign, which means it's very flowing, it's very free. It's like the steam coming out of the kettle. So they're very creative people, and a lot of times Pisceans don't want to grow up, and they find it difficult to sort of have to confront things, to sort of make decisions. So a Piscean always needs a good partner. But if you really want to sort of create mystery and intrigue and find a happy ending to something, ask a Pisces, because they might have 3 or 4 different versions of the truth, and they'll pick the best one and that becomes their reality. So they're really not telling little fibs. It's their interpretation of the truth. So be kind to our little Pisceans. So, and it's Pisces is just the most amazing of energies, because it is a sign that we all should sort of maybe look up to more, and it's not necessarily the sign that overindulges like some people think. And I've completely forgotten who I was going to talk about as a famous Piscean, so I'll get a rap over the knuckles for that I've forgotten our famous people this week.
Rupert Murdoch.
The other thing I'd like to
And
talk
me.
about, Steve, is that it's really interesting because with the energy of Pisces, Pisces at the moment, and you'd be aware of this being an astrologer. We've had so much happening in Pisces in the last couple of months. So we've got Venus, the planet of love and affection, is conjunct or holding hands with Chiron at the moment, the planet of the wounded healer, or asking us to heal ourselves. So it's interesting because the three planets in conjunction at the moment are Venus, the planet of love and affection, Chiron, the planet of the wounded healer, or asking us to heal ourselves emotionally, and Mars. They're all sitting in Pisces. So if our viewers have been having a little bit of difficulty in the last week dealing with emotional issues or trying to get through to a loved one, whether it be a child or whether it's your partner or even somebody that you normally get along with at work, and you think there's something really titchy in the energy at the moment, it's because of this, because Venus is wanting us to mend anything that's not right. It's saying we have this opportunity now to take whatever's not right, that our heart is not happy about, and fix it. We can do that. We've got the drive, we've got the determination, but with that sometimes comes a few crosswords. So just be aware that we don't need to approach everything in a bombastic way. It's not about getting my needs across and my needs are more important than yours. It's about approaching it, I think, in a gentle way that we can sort of sit down and find a solution. So I hope that helps a few people understand why they've been feeling a little bit titchy this week. And just to wrap it up, well, of course, we're going to have the new moon in Aquarius on Saturday morning, so get your crystals ready and whatever you might do with the new moon. Some people like to put them out under the full moon. Some people like to do it under the new moon. I always think the new moon is a time for writing your list of what you'd like to bring into your life, the positive things that you'd like to bring towards you. And, of course, it's in Aquarius. And that'll be 8:37 a.m. Sydney time on Saturday morning.
Right. So, you know whose birth date it is on the 29th of January. You were talking before about famous people, females in this case, who are Aquarians. Ellen DeGeneres is the 26th of January, so her birth date is conjunct with Australia Day. No wonder Australians love Ellen. And also Oprah is the 29th of January. So look out for a new beginning. Look out for a new beginning with Oprah. She's probably going to mention it within the next 2 or 3 months. There'll be a new beginning with her career. Are you agreeing with me, do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think she's going to do some amazing things. And yes, and it doesn't surprise me that she's an Aquarian, because she dared to break the rules, didn't she? Of convention. How could a woman that wasn't white-skinned get out there and tell everybody how to run their lives, and do it so well that she's got such a following around the world, and everybody loves Oprah.
Look, just before you go, you're talking about Pisces. We've got Neptune in Pisces. I'm not sure how long it's going to be there for, quite a few more years, about 3 or 4 or 5 more years, I think. A planet, when it goes through a sign, the individuals can feel like they're walking through a hall of smoke and mirrors. But Neptune is at home in its own sign of Pisces, and it's the higher octave of Venus. So do you think that people at the moment are being influenced by everything's not quite what it seems? How would that be affecting America?
I think it's very definitely affecting America. I mean, because, regardless of whichever way we look at voting systems around the world, the people have spoken. Whether it's legitimate or not legitimate, we can't decide that, and we shouldn't have an opinion on that, I don't think, here in Australia. But the people have spoken. They now have a new president, whether they like him or not. It's going to be a time of change. And, we've spoken about this before on the show, even though Neptune's in Pisces and it can be smoke and mirrors, and Pluto's in Capricorn, we couldn't continue to go on as a planet the way that we were. And sometimes the only way that we get change in this wonderful world of ours is that we've got to have things that happen in our lives that, I didn't want that. So it makes us get up off the couch and put our angry hat on and say, I'm going to do something about this. So if enough people do that, and we saw that with the women all marching over the weekend over there, the biggest rally of women ever I think probably in the history of time, it's just showing that people are now going to start to get up and sort of start to stand up for what they really believe is right. So the positive side of the Neptune in Pisces situation, Stephen, I know you would agree with me with this, it is a time of, it is a time of smoke and mirrors, but it's also a time of great insight, that once you sort of come out of that smoke and mirrors or the Neptunian fog, you get such great insight, we get great direction, our intuition becomes heightened, we become a lot more, I think, pliable and sympathetic towards our fellow human beings, and that can't be a bad thing.
Another thing too with Neptune moving through Pisces, any Pisces that are involved with Neptune-related industries, so that can be anything from petroleums to working on a shipping line, or alcohol, or any of the fluid industries, gas, petroleums, very, very successful for you, not so much mining. Amanda, thank you.
And it's also too connected to, obviously, film and television and anything creative. But the one thing I think that people forget to look at too with Pisces energy is it also rules the mental health issues. So, a lot of Pisceans work in those areas of helping people, guide them through their day-to-day life and understand their emotions as well.
You're on the show again next week. What will you be talking about?
Next week, we're going to start a new 4-part series. We're going to actually look at the moon, because you and I both know, Steve, that the sun is at 1/10 of our chart, but the moon probably in some people's charts is even more predominant than their sun sign. So it's really interesting when you know where your moon is. Your sun sign might be in Aries, but your moon might be in Scorpio. So you've got two conflicting sort of energies. So can I suggest to the viewers, if they haven't already done so, go onto the website, get their own chart, sent to them during the week, so that they can look up and follow along with us as we work through the zodiac of the signs. Very inexpensive on the All About You website.
Thank you very much for being on our show again, as always. And you're teasing a little bit because you're waiting for Vivian to come back in a couple of weeks' time. So
I really thought that I couldn't leave my dear darling friend out, Vivian, when I talk about how Saturn's going to affect you and Vivian. And I thought we really need to be fair and have Terry on the panel, on the Skype that night as well, because the three darling Capricorns, I wouldn't like any one of you to miss out.
Well, we can arrange that. And yes, a little bit curious, not too sure what Pluto is. Any Capricorns who are watching us on the show, you'll certainly be aware of. Well, we hear it's tumultuous change, and a lot of it's just on that roller coaster where it's, hang on, oh my God, where is it taking us? So you'll be giving us a little bit of information about how Saturn, the old school...
more about how Pluto's going to do his dance with Saturn when Saturn actually goes into Capricorn.
Yes.
It's all well and fine that you keep teasing us Sagittarians, Steve, about us having Saturn going through our sign. But, it's not going to be that far away before he jumps into Capricorn and holds hands with Pluto, and then we'll see some fireworks, won't we?
Oh, it'll be a good thing. I think we can wear party hats. What will you be talking on the show next week about?
About the moon. About the moon in Aries, Taurus and Gemini, and how that affects you, and why is the moon so important in our chart.
Well, thank you very much. And if you'd like a personal reading with Amanda, you can write in to us, attention Amanda, to inbox, and all about you, there it is on our screen, allaboutyou@gmail.com and www.allaboutyouaus.com. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on again. We love you, my love, and see you next week.
Yeah, see you later, Amanda. Thanks a lot for that.
Bye now. Bye-bye. Coming up on the show next week, we've got Linda Usop, who's with us, Fiona Rain, and I saw Linda. She's going to be quite successful, I think. Very, very genuine.
Oh, she's got such a beautiful, gentle energy.
Yeah. And we love Fiona, and she always comes on with her fluids, talking of Neptune and doing things with milk and colours. And I saw that on the screen the last time we had that on the show. You can review our past shows to see how Fiona gets readings out of that. So everything from pregnancy to retirement. Now we've got her on the show, and also we'll be starting a new format in a few weeks. We'll let you know about those details as they're coming up. The All About You panel. Thank you to Sheila Vijeyarasa. And to Peter Hoare, always lovely having you with us.
Wonderful to be here.
And I'm Stephen J. Murphy, and I look forward to seeing you again. We're back to our regular time, friends, on Monday night, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So just keep a posting with us on Facebook and we'll let you know how we go. Thanks for being with us, and keep those birth dates and your questions coming in. See you all very soon. Bye now.